Assalamu alaikum. It's me, Salam Sabi, and I'm excited because within the next month or two, I'll be buying a camcorder, so I'll be able to finally show my face. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. This is just a short video about, please, ladies, sisters, I said ladies, I'm sorry, sisters, please watch your children in the masjid. Okay, it makes absolutely no sense that you allow your child to run wild in such a sacred place. I mean, there's so many reasons why sometimes sisters don't want to go to Juma, because they don't want to hear kids screaming and crying. You can't even hear the hoopah because there's a baby crying, or there's a child running around screaming, or someone's knocking something down or touching something that they're not supposed to touch. I mean, I understand that as women, we're responsible for taking the children with us to the female section, but sometimes it can just be too much. I've been to some masjids, and these are for the ones up north, where the female side, it has been taken over by bad children, and it's just not an over exaggeration. These kids are bad. There's two types of kids: bad kids and good kids, and these kids have no manners, and they'll steal your shoes and your sandals and steal your bag. One sister had her bag stolen, like her actual purse. She actually went to the bathroom and she left her purse in the corner, and this child took her bag. It was crazy that they had to make an announcement, or they had Islamic classes, but it's like babies are crying, kids are screaming, kids are talking over, singing. I mean, it's just such a distraction. It's to the point where you kind of, want to turn around and say, can you shut up? Astaghfirullah. It's wrong, but sometimes you just want to tell her to take her kids and leave. And I can't tell you, when I was up north, because it's really bad up north, when I would just sit there and I couldn't even hear the hoopah. Like, I didn't know what was going on. It wasn't even sisters talking. You know how people say, oh, the sisters wouldn't stop talking. No, it's actually the kids. And when it's time to offer salah, it's like you have kids crawling on top of their mothers, kids screaming, kids touching you. And first of all, I also want to make it clear is that I'm not against children. I actually like kids, but some of these kids are out of control. You can't even concentrate on offering prayer because you have a 3-year-old pulling off his diaper and running around screaming. And yes, I hate to say it, it's a burden. And it's not just a burden upon the mother, it's a burden upon all the other sisters. I once went to an Islamic class where I couldn't even hear, and you can tell that the sister who was teaching the class was losing her patience, but she has to be understanding that it's the sisters that get stuck with the children. And it's not a coincidence that these kids have no manners. It's because their parents are not disciplining them. And I don't care what nationality you are or what race. Certain people say, oh, it's the foreign kids. Some people say it's the black kids. Really, I was around more people from foreign descent, so of course to me it was more foreign kids. But if you go to a black masjid, you see kids also act, well, let me think about it. Because the African American masjid, and I know you're not supposed to put a race towards a masjid, but let's be realistic. There are masjids that have more people from Pakistan or from Saudi Arabia or from here in the States, okay? I mean, that's just a reality. But you don't really see kids acted up like that. Like, you know, or else their parents will snatch them up real quick and even spank them. But it's not really based on race or nationality, because there's bad kids all over the place, even non-Muslim kids. I mean, believe me, I know that personally, so I know. But it was just like, you can't worship in peace, you can't find your shoes, you can't find your purse, you can't even find your brain in order to think, because you have children screaming and acting a fool. And the masjid down here during Ramadan, these little boys were running around, and somehow, someway, they busted the window out. I mean, they actually these little kids busted a window. And when these children are running around, I'm just thinking to myself, you're an adult, you're the mother, you need to snatch your children up and discipline them. When I was Christian and I went to church, I wouldn't even dare, okay? Because my mom made it very clear to me, you do not speak and you sit still. If you have to go to the bathroom, you go ahead of time and you sit there. If you acted up, you got your behind tore up. And it wasn't cute, sometimes in front of everyone, okay? It's extremely embarrassing. And it's just, I don't know why some parents don't have enough shame to just beat your child. I mean, I hate to say, I'm not saying to hurt them and to leave scars and bruises on them. I'm saying to discipline your children. There are sisters who have walked out of the masjid with no shoes on. I saw that up north, no shoes on, because some bratty little kid decided to touch somebody else's, and that's nasty. You know, your kids are touching random people's foot fungus and stuff. It's gross. Get control of your kids, or don't bring them. Leave them home with the elders. I mean, seriously, it's gotten a little bit out of hand. And if you're listening to this and you're offended, well, you're probably one of those parents who don't watch your kids. I mean, you should really be ashamed of yourself, because you're disturbing me and you're disturbing other sisters. I've seen children come to that masjid, and you know what else I've noticed? It's the boys. It's more of the boys than it is the girls. The girls will quietly sit next to their mothers while these little hell-raising children are running around and acting a fool, pulling curtains. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, today at Juma, this little boy pulled the curtains. And it's a very thin curtain, you know, separating the men from the... He pulled the curtain, and all his mom could do was just smile and try to have him let go of the curtains. And then it was just a mess. I was like, you know what? You need to spank your child, and spank them hard. You know, you need to put that fear in them, that they have to have respect for the masjid. Some people will turn around and say, oh, their children, they can't help it. Shh. That's a lie. That is an excuse, and that is a lie. I have seen plenty of kids, even a few boys, come in there and sit down right next to their mother. One little boy, he started acting up, and it wasn't even, his mother pinched him so hard, he just ran and sat right next to her. He knows his place. Sisters, teach your children to respect the masjid, especially up north. It's crazy up north. It's like all these bad kids just running around. It's like, and they think it's funny, and they won't listen to other adults. You can train your children to behave. The only reason your children are running around and acting a fool is because you have no parenting skills. I'm sorry. And so some people may ask me, oh, do I have children? No, but I have younger siblings, and I've been around kids most of my life. You know, I have a niece who would put every single person's child to shame. She's so disciplined that at the age of 3, she would go to the library, she would pull a book out, go through the book, and place the book back exactly where she found it. People love my niece so much that they actually offer to watch her. Why? Because she's disciplined. At the age of 3, now she's 5 or 6, no, she's 5. 5 years old, has manners. And she also fears her parents, especially her father, because she knows if she acts up, she's gonna get beat. People told me they've never seen a 3-year-old pick out a book, look at it, and perfectly put it back in place. They've never seen a 3-year-old, now she's 5, a 5-year-old, eat her plate, clean up after herself, and put it back. You train your kids. It's you, and it takes time and dedication, but they also have to have a fear of you. I'm not talking about a fear that you'll kill them, but how do you say it, a respect. It just makes absolutely no sense how these kids are. They have no respect for the Masjid, and these women should be ashamed of themselves. I don't care where you come from, you should be ashamed of yourself. You can't even control a little kid, a child who is under your control. Okay? That child did not give birth to you. You gave birth to that child. And it's just disgusting to just see how these kids act. People can't find their sandals. They can't find their purses. You know, you can't even attend an Islamic class because babies are crying and screaming. I'm not saying sisters can attend Juma, but come on now. You know what I'm saying? Watch your kids. And if I offended anyone, I hate to say this, I don't care, because it's the truth. If your child's bad, and if your child embarrasses you all the time, then your child's bad. There's 2 types of kid, good and bad. Some people are like, oh no, the child is misunderstood. No, your child is bad because you as a parent have not gone out of your way to properly discipline your child. It's your fault that your child is driving everybody else crazy. So I'm done, guys. Besides the curtain being pulled down during Juma, I mean, it was a pretty good Juma, you know. He talked about, I don't remember, because kids were crying and pulling curtains. Assalamu alaikum.